Welcome to English Podcast for You. I'm Maria, and I'm so excited to have you here. Whether you're just starting to learn English or looking to improve your skills, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let's learn together and make English fun and easy. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to English Podcast for You. I'm Maria, and I'm so happy you're here today. If you enjoyed our last listening test episode, thank you so much for your amazing feedback. It really means a lot. Today, we have another exciting episode for you. A brand new listening test with a long, interesting story full of useful vocabulary and natural expressions. This story is a little more challenging than before, but don't worry. Just listen carefully and enjoy the journey. Your goal is to listen without stopping, absorb the language, and understand the meaning as best as you can. If you understand the whole story well, that means your English level is advanced, or at least B2. Congratulations! After the story, I'll ask some questions to help you remember key points and practice your English comprehension. So, find a comfortable, quiet place. Put on your headphones and get ready to focus on the story. The more you listen, the better your English will get. That's a promise. Are you ready? Let's begin. Every Sunday morning, without fail, Daniel walked slowly through the quiet streets of his neighborhood, past familiar buildings and sleepy trees, until he reached a little cafe tucked away on the corner of Maple and 5th Street. A place that most people overlooked, but to him, it was a space full of memory and meaning. The cafe itself was old and cozy, with creaky wooden floors, a faded red awning above the door, and tables that wobbled slightly when you leaned too hard on them. Inside, the smell of freshly ground coffee beans and cinnamon pastries floated in the air, and soft jazz music played from a dusty radio near the counter. Daniel always sat in the same seat by the window, watching leaves fall, cars pass, and strangers walk by, wondering where they were going and whether they felt as alone as he did. The barista, Elsie, a gentle young woman with tired eyes and a kind smile, brought him the same black coffee in the same chipped white mug without needing to ask. She didn't know why he came every Sunday, and she never asked. What no one knew was that Daniel had been coming to that cafe for 3 years, ever since the day Clara had left. She had said she felt lost, stuck, like she couldn't breathe anymore in their routine life. She hadn't yelled. There were no tears, just a suitcase by the door and a soft goodbye. At first, Daniel had been angry, then numb, then quiet. But deep inside, something told him she would come back, one day. Maybe not soon, but eventually. He remembered how she used to write poems on napkins, hum when she cooked, and cry at sad movies even when she tried to hide it. So he waited. Not with hope, but with habit. Like someone watering a plant they're not sure will ever grow again. Some Sundays were harder than others. The cafe felt colder in winter, and time moved slower when it rained. But Daniel never missed a Sunday. And then, on one gray and rainy morning, when the cafe was nearly empty and the world felt especially quiet, the bell above the door rang. Daniel didn't look up right away. He had trained himself not to. But then he heard a voice he hadn't heard in years. Soft, nervous, trembling slightly. "You kept my seat." He froze. Slowly he turned, and there she was. Clara. Her hair was shorter, her eyes looked more tired, and she wore the green scarf he had given her on their last anniversary. For a second, he didn't speak. Neither did she. And then, as if no time had passed at all, she sat down and whispered, "I never stopped thinking about this place. Or you." Daniel took a deep breath, looked into her eyes, and smiled. Not the smile of someone who had won, but the quiet, peaceful smile of someone who had waited long enough. "I always saved your seat," he said. Outside, the rain continued to fall, but inside, two people who once broke apart slowly began to piece each other back together over coffee and quiet forgiveness. Now that you've listened to the full story, it's time to check how much you understood. Don't worry if you didn't catch every single word. This is all about practice. I'll ask you a few questions about the story. Try to answer them in your head or say them out loud. Ready? Let's begin. First, where did Daniel go every Sunday? And why? Second, what was special about the cafe to Daniel? Third, how did Daniel feel after Clara left? Fourth, describe Clara's return. What did she say? Fifth, what was Daniel's reply at the end of the story? What is your opinion? Do you think Clara and Daniel will stay together this time? Why or why not? And that brings us to the end of today's story. I hope you took your time to really listen, imagine the scene, and connect emotionally with the characters. Stories like this aren't just for entertainment, they're a powerful way to improve your English. You practice listening to natural speech, longer sentences, and more advanced vocabulary, all within a real-life context. If you understood most of the story, that's amazing. And if it was a bit difficult, don't worry. That's part of learning. Every time you listen again, you'll understand more. So, go ahead. Repeat it later today or tomorrow. Each time, your brain will pick up new sounds, new words, and better sentence structure. I want you to think carefully about the ending. There was no final decision, so what is your opinion? Do you think Clara and Daniel will start a new relationship and stay together this time? Or do you think their meeting was simply closure for something that's already finished? I would love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment and tell me what you think. And of course, explain why. Sharing your opinion is a great way to practice writing in English too. And of course, I've prepared a full PDF file just for you. Inside, you'll find the complete story written out. A list of useful vocabulary with clear explanations, and the answers to the questions I asked earlier. So, if you want to improve your reading, pronunciation, or speaking through shadowing, the PDF is your best friend. You'll find it linked in the description. Don't skip it. It will help you make the most of this episode. And finally, I just want to say, if you made it this far, you're doing an incredible job. Seriously, listening to an entire story in English, trying to understand, and reflecting on it. That means you're not just a beginner anymore. You're building something strong. So keep going, keep listening, and I'll see you again soon for another episode of English Podcast for You. Take care and happy learning.